October 26, 2010. 50 million people opened LimeWire expecting to download free music. They got a court order instead. The world's most popular file-sharing app had vanished overnight. One day you're downloading that new Eminem album for free. The next day federal judges have erased your favorite app from existence. The fallout was honestly impressive. A $105 million settlement would follow. Court ordered bankruptcy. Then the brand got resurrected as an NFT marketplace, because apparently nothing stays dead on the internet. This is the story of how a Wall Street trader accidentally built the perfect piracy machine and why shutting it down might have saved the music industry. If you remember downloading sketchy MP3s at 2 a.m., hit that like button and subscribe to Money Legends. Mark Gorton had the kind of resume that makes you wonder what went wrong. Electrical engineering degrees from Yale and Stanford, derivatives analyst at Credit Suisse, and First Boston. By 1998, he founded Tower Research Capital, a quantitative trading hedge fund where algorithms printed money while he slept. Then this Wall Street guy decided to build a music-sharing platform. As pivots go, this one was pretty dramatic. Gorton launched LimeWire in 2000 with a mission to create the easiest way for people to discover and share music online. The mission statement sounded almost noble. The execution would become legendary for entirely different reasons. His first big decision sealed LimeWire's fate before a single song got downloaded. Instead of building a centralized system his company could control, Gorton chose the Nutella protocol. This was radical decentralization taken to its logical extreme. When you searched for a song, the request didn't flow through LimeWire servers. It rippled across millions of connected computers like a digital game of telephone. This meant LimeWire literally couldn't see what users were sharing. They couldn't monitor requests, they couldn't block specific files. Gorton had built a system that was fundamentally uncontrollable by design. He coded everything in Java so it worked seamlessly across Windows, Mac, and Linux. The interface was clean and intuitive compared to the competition. The business model looked surprisingly legitimate. LimeWire Basic was free with ads. LimeWire Pro cost $18.88 and offered faster downloads, no ads, and better search results. Gorton even planned a legal music store called LimeWire Store. Network effects kicked in fast. More users meant more available files, which attracted more users, which meant even more files. Within a few years, tens of millions of people were using LimeWire to download any music they wanted, for free. The elegant architecture that prevented corporate censorship also made it nearly impossible to prevent copyright infringement. You could search millions of MP3 files with a single click. Preview songs before downloading. Access rare live recordings that weren't available in any store. Gorton had accidentally built the most efficient copyright violation system in human history. The music industry was watching, and they were preparing a counterattack that would make the Napster lawsuit look like a parking ticket. The music industry wanted to kill LimeWire, but first they had to understand just how catastrophically big it had become. By 2009, LimeWire had roughly 50 million monthly active users worldwide. Independent research from NPD Group found that 58% of all peer-to-peer downloaders had chosen LimeWire as their go-to platform. It was the largest coordinated copyright violation in human history, and it had a cleaner interface than most legitimate software. Here's what made LimeWire different from every competitor. Kazaa bundled invasive spyware that turned your computer into a slow-motion hostage situation. Morpheus crashed more often than it worked, and probably gave your computer digital hepatitis. BearShare looked like it was designed by someone who'd never actually used a computer. LimeWire felt almost professional. Clean interface, fast searches, dozens of results appeared instantly for any artist or song title. The psychological genius was borderline brilliant. LimeWire normalized what should have felt like theft. The professional branding, legitimate feeling pro version, and clean design all signaled that this was somehow acceptable. Users weren't stealing music, they were sharing files through a digital community. Theft with better marketing is still theft, but it sure feels nicer. Network effects created unstoppable momentum. More users meant faster downloads and access to rare tracks you couldn't find elsewhere. B-sides that never made it to the radio, concert bootlegs from shows only 200 people attended, that remix your friend swore existed but you could never find in stores. An entire generation stopped believing music should cost money. Forget waiting for the radio to play your favorite song. Forget driving to Tower Records and paying $18 for a CD with one good track and 12 filler songs. LimeWire offered instant access to virtually any recording ever made, right now. Economics professors could explain why this business model was completely unsustainable. Teenagers downloading Linkin Park albums didn't care about sustainability. The music industry faced an impossible problem. You can't sue 50 million people. Like Napster's centralized servers, that could be unplugged. LimeWire's decentralized architecture meant there was no single kill switch. The labels needed a completely different legal weapon, and they found one in a 2005 Supreme Court case most people had never heard of. How do you prove that Mark Gordon intentionally designed LimeWire for privacy and not just file sharing? In August 2006, the Recording Industry Association of America, the music industry's trade organization representing Universal, Sony BMG, Warner Bros., and EMI, filed their lawsuit. Their legal theory was called inducement. If you could prove a company actively encouraged copyright infringement, you could hold them responsible for every single violation, not just their own actions, but millions of users downloading Britney Spears albums. The RIAA hired Dr. Richard Waterman, a digital forensics expert, to document exactly what was happening on LimeWire's network. Dr. Waterman spent months monitoring search requests, download patterns, and file types across LimeWire's entire system. His computers captured millions of data points from real user sessions. He documented everything with the precision of someone whose findings would be challenged in federal court. He found that 98.8% of all requests on LimeWire involved copyrighted material that users had no legal right to download. Out of every 1,000 searches, fewer than 12 were for legitimate consent. The prosecutors found the internal emails. LimeWire executives had discussed making it easier for users to find popular copyrighted songs. Marketing materials literally highlighted the platform's ability to access any song you want for free. This was the business model. On May 11, 2010, federal judge Kimba Wood, who'd previously presided over major white-collar crime cases, delivered her summary judgment ruling. LimeWire had induced copyright infringement on a massive scale. Mark Gordon's company wasn't a neutral technology platform being misused by bad actors. It was a criminal enterprise that happened to have a Stanford engineer running it. Judge Wood's shutdown order was the legal equivalent of a scorched earth campaign. Users who opened LimeWire that morning found their search functions dead. Downloads stopped mid-transfer. The distributed network connecting millions of computers worldwide went dark instantly. LimeWire's homepage displayed a stark legal notice. The platform had been permanently enjoined from facilitating the downloading, uploading, file trading, and/or file distribution functionality. Translation: you're done. Shut it down. Don't even think about helping users access this network ever again. Judge Wood wasn't messing around with half measures. LimeWire had to provide uninstalled tools to remove their softwares from users' computers. They couldn't distribute any version of their client software. They couldn't offer technical support. They couldn't even answer questions about the shutdown. The judge had essentially issued a corporate death sentence with instructions to erase all evidence of ever existing. The RIAA celebrated with their restraint of people who just won the lottery. This is a groundbreaking victory against one of the world's largest facilitators of illegal downloading. They announced to anyone with a microphone. Online forums turned into digital grief counseling sessions. Is LimeWire really gone forever? Where can I download music now? Why won't my searches work? College students the world over suddenly had to figure out how to actually pay for music like their parents did. The collateral damage was significant. Gordon had been planning a legitimate music marketplace that might have actually saved the company. That collapsed within weeks. The legal side business that could have proven LimeWire wanted to go legit never got its chance. By December 2010, LimeWire LLC was dissolving into bankruptcy. Employees got laid off, servers went dark. The company was being systematically erased from existence. Mark Gordon released one final statement defending the technology. We remain committed to developing innovative products and services for the creative community. The words of a man watching his creation get deleted in real time. The music industry had won decisively. The Nutella protocol was supposedly dead. Free music was over. Except the technology wasn't actually dead. And anonymous developers were about to prove it. The music industry's victory lasted exactly 15 days. On November 10, 2010, a mysterious download appeared on file-sharing forums worldwide. LimeWire Pirate Edition. Someone had professionally reverse-engineered LimeWire's entire codebase, removed every restriction the court imposed, and unlocked features that previously cost money. They'd taken LimeWire's corpse and brought it back to life with upgrades. The creator clearly knew LimeWire's architecture intimately. They'd stripped out server dependencies that allowed court orders to disable features, removed all advertisements, unlocked LimeWire Pro's premium search capabilities, made it completely immune to legal action because there was no company to sue. The RIAA discovered a fundamental problem with their legal strategy. You can kill a centralized company. You can't kill decentralized technology. Millions of users started downloading a version of LimeWire that no court order could touch. The software didn't connect to LimeWire LLC servers because those servers no longer existed. It didn't generate revenue for anyone. It just worked. Better than the original, actually. Papers got filed immediately alleging Gorton's company had violated the permanent injunction. The RIAA demanded emergency hearings. Someone was clearly breaking the law, and Mark Gorton was the obvious suspect. Gorton's lawyers had an ironclad defense, though. LimeWire LLC hadn't created the Pirate Edition. Some anonymous developer had reverse-engineered their software independently. You can't violate an injunction for code you didn't write. So the whack-a-mole game began. RIAA lawyers would identify websites hosting the Pirate Edition and send takedown notices. Files would disappear from one server. 3 new copies would appear on different servers within hours. BitTorrent sites, underground forums, file hosting services in countries where American copyright law is treated as a friendly suggestion at best. Each takedown spawned multiple new upload locations. The Pirate Edition became more widely available after the lawsuit than LimeWire had ever been when it was legal. Other developers joined the party. FrostWire launched as a completely independent Gnutella client. Wireshare offered similar functionality. The protocol proved nearly unkillable. A spokesperson calling themselves Meta Pirate released a statement, "You can't keep a good app down." The music industry had won the battle against LimeWire. They were losing the war against an idea that refused to die. The music industry couldn't kill the technology, so they did the next best thing. They made Mark Gorton pay enough money to scare everyone else. May 12, 2011, Mark Gorton and LimeWire LLC agreed to a $105 million settlement to make the lawsuits disappear forever. One of the largest copyright settlements in history. For context, the RIAA had initially demanded $75 trillion in damages. That's not a typo. $75 trillion. More money than the entire music industry has generated since humans invented recorded sound. More money that exists in most countries. Judge Wood called the claim absurd, which is legal speak for, did you people graduate from law school or a carnival? The first settlement was 99.9% less than the opening demand. But $105 million was still enough to bankrupt LimeWire and send a message to every other platform building their empire on other people's intellectual property. The recording industry had been hemorrhaging revenue through the 2000s. U.S. music sales crashed from $14.5 billion in 1999 to just $7.7 billion by 2009. Industry executives blamed peer-to-peer platforms for nearly half that decline. Whether they were right or just needed a scapegoat didn't matter anymore. Someone had to pay. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. The settlement accidentally taught record labels the lesson they'd been refusing to learn for a decade. You can't stop technology with lawsuits. You can't kill an idea by destroying one company. The only way to beat piracy was making legal music more convenient than stolen music. 4 months after LimeWire's settlement, Spotify launched in the United States. Not a coincidence. Apple Music, Tidal, and Amazon Music would follow. The industry that had spent years fighting digital distribution suddenly became obsessed with perfecting it. The economics actually made sense. Spotify pays roughly $0.003 per stream. That's terrible for individual artists trying to pay rent. But it's infinitely better than the $0 LimeWire generated while facilitating billions of illegal downloads. The $105 million settlement accomplished what thousands of lawsuits against teenagers never could. It proved that building piracy platforms carried catastrophic financial risk, and more importantly, it forced the music industry to finally compete with convenience instead of lawyers. LimeWire's destruction launched the streaming revolution that would make file sharing obsolete. Sometimes you have to lose the battle to win the war. In March 2022, Austrian entrepreneurs bought the LimeWire brand and relaunched it as an NFT marketplace. A name synonymous with stealing music now sells digital ownership certificates. Oh, the irony. But here's the pattern that matters. Consumers wanted instant access to any song ever recorded. The music industry spent billions fighting that demand through lawsuits and legislation. They won every court case and lost the entire war. Then streaming platforms gave consumers exactly what they wanted legally. Now the music industry makes even more money than ever. Every technological disruption follows this exact pattern. New capabilities emerges, incumbents fight it, demand grows anyway. Eventually someone serves the demand legally and wins. The companies that survive aren't the ones with the best lawyers. They're the ones who figure out how to serve what people actually want before someone else does. Fighting demand doesn't kill demand. It just kills you slower. Did LimeWire force the music industry to evolve, or would streaming have happened anyway? Drop your thoughts below. If this story hooked you, smash that like button and subscribe to Money Legends for more billion-dollar rises and falls. Ready for another corporate empire that destroyed itself? Click here to watch our next thrilling investigation.